Okay, hello everyone, welcome. We are here with Dave. Dave or Dead is his name, which is a very sort of, I feel like Dave is the answer to that question. Dave is definitely the answer to that question. Dave, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's really nice to have you here.
Hey,
So,
oh, you go.
you've just admitted to me that you didn't have a Twitter profile before 3 days ago. So who are you if you've not been on Twitter?
I was on it years and years and years ago, and then like just having kids and everything, I just found it was just a bit distracting having those kind of things. So I came off it completely, and then in the meantime, Kind's come about, and realizing I probably do need to have a bit more of a social media presence. Um, the Dave or Dead thing came from going way back when I was doing mostly front end development, and it was kind of like a fed or dead, like front end development or dead type thing. And then, yeah, I don't know, Dave or Dead just kind of derived.
Okay, totally explicable. It is really nice to have you here. You're doing something with. By the way, everyone is there on board with you, and in fact, I've been corrected that in fact you are not on Twitter now either. You're on X apparently. Uh, that's not caught on in my own mind, but there we go. So
No,
you
we still updated the logos to X on Kind because we're not sure whether it's going to stick or not.
Yeah, well, exactly. We have updated them, but I'm not convinced about that either. So for a start, so you tell us about Kind. So and what's your role at Kind?
So I'm one of the co-founders of Kind. The end vision, so we are a startup, is to have a platform essentially that enables founders to get to market as quickly as possible, not wasting their time building things like authentication and billing, plans, pricing, support, all these things that essentially are commodities, and allowing them to focus on what makes their idea different, like what makes them different to all the other products in the market, and just sort of accelerating that development. The first piece of that is authentication, which is what we've shipped so far, because it takes a very long time to build it well. Um, currently focusing on the billing component as well.
Cool. So I thought we could use this as a demo of building a Next module. So sorry to use you, Dave, to do that. Dave, I feel Dave is an expert, and probably more qualified expert than I really deserve to come and talk to me about what just happened. Was that music on the Kind website? I think it was. I just suddenly heard something playing. David's probably more qualified than I really deserve to come and talk to me about how Kind works. But I thought we'd build the next module. Oh, and hi, Joaquin, Carlos, Seleman, Milos, Paras. So many people actually. Andre have all joined while I've been chatting. So hello. So I basically don't have any experience with Kind. I've created an account, but the aim here is to hopefully do whatever we need to do to set up a Next module so people can use that if they want to use Kind in a Next app. So normally what I would do, oh, for goodness sake, I've had to switch out of the insiders channel of VS Code because it has a problem with port forwarding at the moment. That's neither here nor there, but my shortcut keys are all messed up. Let's see if I can fix it. Oh, I'll just fix it by moving there. I use something called Snap, which is really great for being able to switch windows automatically. You just do command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, and it switches to whatever the thing is in your dock at that place. And it is very nice. And I think it takes a moment to update, so I'm not sure if it will work. Yeah, okay, it's up and working now. I'll just drag them around. So to start with, we're just going to create a Next module. So the way we do that is we have our new Nuxi CLI, And we're just going to do init kind module. We're going to use the module template to do that. And we'll do that with pnpm. This is the new Nux CLI, by the way, if anyone is watching. It's new as 3.7, and it's a new repository. And hopefully we'll be able to move a lot faster. Josh, hey. Nux.com will be open source. Apologies, Dave, because I'll be sort of spotting what people are asking, which you might not see, but Nux.com should be actually open sourced remarkably soon. It's one of our priorities in terms of the next month or so. Okay, so let's open this new module. And one of the things I find really helpful in creating a module to start with, it comes with a playground. And even before you know what to build, if you can figure out sort of how to create an app using a service, and then you start abstracting away the bits of configuration that you had to do in order to do it, then that basically is a very helpful guide for how to create a next module. So you don't always have to know in advance. You can just start by building out this playground folder and just configuring it to use the app or the service or whatever it is. So in this particular case, what I'm hoping to do is get Dave to tell me how I should set up an app to use kind, and we'll sort of do it live, and then we'll make that into a module, and hopefully that will be a useful thing for other people. So let's see, how would I do it? So I probably need to have a look at the SDK, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so we have a TypeScript SDK, which we've designed essentially to be able to be wrapped by Next.js or Nuxt or any JavaScript-based framework or library, whether it's on the front end, browser side, or on the back end. So I would imagine that's probably going to be the best fit to wrap. I would recommend, so the documentation around the TypeScript SDK is really geared towards people that are installing it to use directly. But on the GitHub repo itself for the TypeScript SDK is more for people who are looking to consume it inside of a library or framework. So you might be better off looking at the GitHub repo for TypeScript. I think I flicked you the link.
I think you did, although I have to confess, I thought I would look at it live rather than in advance. But so what's the difference between the TypeScript and the JavaScript SDK? I'm just looking at your docs, and you seem to have them separate.
So the TypeScript one is more recent. It allows interaction with either browser or Node environments, whereas the JavaScript one is purely for front-end apps. So like vanilla JavaScript, or you could use it for wrapping something like React Native, or I don't know. It's kind of like a very raw version that can be wrapped by other libraries.
Okay. But is there any downside to using it in the browser? It doesn't. Is it going to be heavier weight, the TypeScript one?
It should be tree shaken so that you're only pulling in whichever side that you need. But as I understand, from my understanding of Nuxt, you would be running it server side.
So, okay, well that's a good question, because we can run it purely server side, but we also have client side navigation. So let's just run the dev prepare command and get going with the actual module. Basically, with Nuxt, we have the server side framework. So we can, for example, if we were doing some authentication, we could set up sort of protection for your app on different routes. So, you can't go to this page unless you're logged in and have these permissions. But what if you want to do that on client-side navigation? There might be a way of either saying, here's the user, and then just serving that on the initial request, and then you authenticate subsequent navigation, or you authorize subsequent navigations based on the sort of user that's been provided with the initial request. Or maybe there's a subsequent API call. I guess there's a question there about the best way to do it. Do you know what I mean? So
yes, there's a few different ways.
Yeah, I think maybe we can look at the next. I think there's the Next.js implementation, which probably you've looked at a lot of these issues anyway. So if I fire up the dev server here for our playground, this is just a basic Nuxt app, which won't have anything unique to kind yet. So let's set it up. Okay. So what would we do first? We probably have to set up a new application in kind, and we need okay, what do we do? Have an environment. We're going to need to create I
think it's under my head, so I can't see it, but there should be an applications link on the left-hand side.
Users, organizations. Okay, start with an organization maybe. Yeah, okay, I have a default org. And then it's okay, this is I'm failing very early on here. Okay, I need to
you probably want to be in settings. There should be applications on the left-hand side.
Cool.
So on the left-hand side, you've got.
Yep. Okay, so in this case, would I want a backend app?
Yes, because the front end one wouldn't give you a client secret, so you're going to want your backend one.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm just going to say TypeScript, and I've got some stuff. So I have a client ID and a client secret, and I think I can share those in the call now, right? Because I can reset them later on. Okay, so I'm going to create a Nuxt kind client ID. Oops. Copy. Oh, I guess maybe it's not been created yet. And I'm guessing callback URL will need to be localhost 3000 something. There we go. And
yep.
Client secret. Okay. And I'll probably edit that in a moment. The callback URL might be callback, I guess. So we could just say auth callback, something like that. And we can set that up in a moment. Cool. Is the stream lagging for anyone? Or just occasionally? Yes, Nuxt does have hot reload. Okay. Oh, and also, Dave, someone is critiquing the docs on TypeScript because the S isn't capitalized. So you'll probably have a PR to your docs repo by the time we get back.
Perfect.
Exactly, perfect. Okay, so we have our app set up, and we need some callback URLs, which we've got. Okay, and does this have to be callback? Does that matter? Presumably, that is totally within our control.
Yeah, you could set that to wherever you were going to be calling back. So I think by default, the TypeScript SDK might expect it to be there, but
okay.
Yeah, depending on how we're consuming it, we could probably change it. It might be simpler just to use the default.
Okay. Great. Okay, we'll use the default. We've got a couple of other ones. Now, these environment variable names, do they matter? Are they consumed in the SDK?
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, I suppose you have two options. You could put them in directly. It depends on if you're doing it via an environment file or if you're going to, you could just put it in directly as per that example there, rather than using your end file. So you could name it whatever you want.
So typically what we do in Nuxt is we have something called runtime config, which basically lets us define what environment variables are going to be allowed to be overridden at runtime. Because we don't just want to build it in, like when you create the build, maybe you're creating a Docker image and you want to deploy somewhere else. Maybe you have multiple keys, you have a demo and staging production. So we want to be able to override at runtime. But Nuxt is designed not just to deploy in node environments, so we don't have a dependency on a .env file or anything. So instead what we do is something like this. So we have maybe a kind key, and then we would have, I guess these are the key bits. And so we would initialize those to client secret, redirect URI, and log out redirect URL. And what ends up happening is that some magic environment variables can override those. So defining Nuxt, like putting Nuxt in front like this, would override those particular IDs, and it would keep it up to date at runtime. So let's see if we can make that work. If not, it's totally fine. We can fall back, but it probably would be better this way. Okay, so we have a node and a browser environment. So we basically can create a client. We have several kinds of clients, it looks like.
Yes, which are better suited for different use cases. So for the browser, you're going to want one where you're not revealing any client secrets anywhere, obviously. And then on the back end, you're going to want the authorization code. The Pixie authorization code flow is arguably more secure.
Okay, so interestingly, for a module, we probably want somehow then to expose a way for the user to pick which one they want. There's no issue, presumably, in multiple ones of these things being used together?
Nope.
No, okay. So we could do something like, we could create, to start with, if we're just thinking about this on the server, we could create a utils kind file. Everything this exports will automatically be made available to the app. So it can be auto-imported. So it would do something like export const kind client. I see. Now we're going to, at this point, run into a little issue. We can do this. We can get the runtime config that we've already defined. And then we pass in some things. So what we would do here is config.kind.auth domain, which is typed for us. And we would do the same with config kind client ID, config kind client secret. I'll just capitalize those here. Interesting. The redirect URI, it's in the documentation, it's listed as redirect URI, but it's redirect URL in the later down. So maybe that's something we can change. Okay, so those should be fine. And this is great. This is an example. Cool. Okay, so we should have a client. Let's see if we can actually just test it. So let's create a folder and we'll create an API test. Hello, welcome, dialing in from the East Coast. It's what? Just starting. Okay. So what we would do is something like, what would the client do for us? Const result is kind client dot, what do we do? Get user.
Yep.
Is that presumably we're not yet logged in or anything, so we would expect this to just return null, I guess. We would pass something to it. Session manager. Okay, how do we create a session manager?
Maybe the first thing to check that it's up and going would be just to get the. So the way it'll work is you'll redirect a client to authenticate. So maybe generating that authentication URL might be a good place to start.
Great. Okay. So we would want to do. That's not going to come from the client.
Be, the URL will. It will be.
I see we have login and register methods. Those, I take it, are going to give us the URL. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we would then be able to do. Okay, it still needs to have a session manager. As in, it wants a session manager to be provided. Am I missing something here?
So in the case of when you're wrapping a framework around it, if you take a look at the GitHub docs, there's a piece on there about, so there's kind of two different ways of consuming it, either directly or as a framework. I can flick you the link to the GitHub repo that has how to set up a. Oh yeah, we've got it there.
Okay, so that's the TypeScript SDK. Is that where we want to look?
Yes. Should be pinned. And then there should be a whole section on Session Manager.
Okay, so, you're using uncrypto. That's great. That is, that's a library that we built for Nuxt. I don't know if you knew that. You still there, Dave? Hey, can you still hear me?
I can now. Sorry, there was a massive lag there for a bit at my end. I don't know if that was everywhere.
I hope not. Maybe. So I was just saying it's cool. You're using a library we built for Nuxt, which is uncrypto. I think.
Oh, great.
Okay, but there should be some docs here.
It's in the README for the TypeScript repo, unconventionally.
Yep. Here we go. So there's an example here of, let's see. Okay, we have a session config. This is Express session. Okay, framework agnostic server session management. So we have a session manager which basically adds some set session item, get session item, remove session item, destroy session to a request. Is that what we're expecting?
So this example here is how you might set it up for Express. So you would need, I guess, to do what the Nuxt equivalent of that is. So this is, as I say, this SDK really is designed to be consumed by Express or Next or whatever. So this is just a demonstration of how it would work in Express.
Okay.
I saw there was a module within Nuxt called, I think it's just called Session, which could be a good candidate for that. But we've tried to make it session agnostic so that it can be used in the way that framework consumers would expect it to be used.
Okay, well, I think you're absolutely right. Actually, this seems very straightforward. So I think if I understand it, we basically need to create a session manager which works in a Nuxty way. So we would do something like export const, just to create something to start with. So probably we could do this as a Nitro plugin. So it's going to run early on and create a session manager. And I think that makes sense. Maybe not a plugin, maybe middleware. Okay, we'll do it via middleware. We'll say we'll just say session manager. Okay, so basically our middleware is going to run. It's not going to return a result. Normally speaking, if you're returning a result in middleware, then it shouldn't be middleware. Okay, so we need to follow this interface. And we probably want to add the session manager on the, we could do this two ways. Okay, we'll try this. So function create session manager, and that will give us the freedom to move this somewhere else. So it needs to return a session manager. And so basically we are going to initialize this and return something with these keys. Now, right, so what we want to do is we have this thing in Nuxt called use session. Or get session, which is going to be a secure session cookie. And by default, you can pass some options to it, but say we could put in a password here. We're just going to make this work quickly, just need a random string of a certain length. Okay, and should be able to pass that in, and we now have a session which is a encrypted session. Is that what we're looking for? We're storing something in a cookie. We want to be able to get that data, write to it, destroy it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Cool. So we could probably even do something like set the cookie name so that it's like specific to the kind session. So it might be, for example, that there is another session that Nitro is using. We don't want to overlap with it. I'm particularly thinking about the. Can I set the cookie name? I'm particularly thinking about the issue of if we destroy the session, it feels like that wouldn't be something a user would want us to do if we're destroying their session. So we'd do something like this is going to take item key, and you feel we're going in the right direction?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we've got, for goodness sake, we'll do something like return. Now, interestingly, this it's expecting this to be synchronous, but we would do something like session dot. I guess we already have the data, so we'd return data item key. And then set session item, I think that is going to be async, but
yes, it would be. Yeah. That's probably going to need a key and a value, I expect.
That is true. So we're going to have to pass the config for updating the session, and then we actually directly return an object like this. Okay, and then remove session item. We would do. Actually, I'm not quite sure whether we have something that directly removes the item. We have unseal update. What else do we have? we can clear the session. I think we would just need to remove it, like set it to undefined maybe. So, and then destroy the session. We're just going to clear it. Okay, and these are going to be async, so that everything but get session item is going to be an async kind of thing. In fact, okay, so what we would need to do in this case is, yeah, this feels right. Okay, is it okay if it's all async, if everything returns a promise?
I have a feeling they might need to be synchronous, but I guess we'll just see what happens.
Okay, I'm basically wondering if we can move that, because like reading the session here, it would be better if we didn't need to do it unless it was actually needed. So if it would be better if I could move that in like this, but if not, then that's okay, we can pull it out, but it will add a little bit of overhead to every request. Anyway, we can basically do it like this. So event context dot kind session manager is going to be create session manager. And then that should mean we are able to, let's just check that we're still able to hit our endpoint, and we just want to return success. So that should hopefully return us, no. Oh, I'm just going to, this is a module specific thing. I'm going to ignore it for the moment, but okay, so we want to be able to do something like log in, and I guess we would pass the thing that we've created. So we created the context kind session manager, and we would want to be able to pass that back. And that is going to be a promise. Okay. So I wonder, it might actually cope with some promises under the hood. Yeah, okay, let's drop that and figure out whether that's going to work. So we have, okay, the endpoint is fine. We need to, the issue is we probably just in this case need to take the H3 event rather than using the experimental async context that we have. Okay, let's see. Okay, that request is, oh, we need to probably await it. Okay, we see a session is created. We have a kind cookie which contains probably nothing at this point, no real content. Let's see if we can generate the login URL. Okay, so we have a login URL. It's being generated by our session manager, which is all very good. You're right, Sasha. It is Sasha, right? I can't tell just as STF. And yes, that's quite right. We do need to set the experimental flag to use event. Daniel Rivers says hi, by the way, Dave. I don't know if you know him, but and the font is here. Okay. So, right, the next thing to do is redirect, presumably. So we want some kind of callback that you hit, and it takes you to the URL, and then it's going to take you back afterwards. So maybe it would be something like, what would a reasonable root be something like just /auth or connect or?
I guess you're going to have, thinking
Login.
from your app perspective, are you going to want to have one for login, one for register, I assume? So probably want them to be separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, /auth/login or just /login.
Cool. Okay, so what we'll do here is then we'll just redirect to login. So we get our login URL, and we actually could choose not to initialize the session manager globally. We could do it in just this handler, but we can refactor. So we then want to redirect. So we're going to send redirect event and login URL. And I think that's a promise, right? Yeah. That should be all we need. Login URL should be, I'm going to use the href. And that should do it. So then if I hit API login, it should just redirect me to that URL. Great. Okay, and it set a cookie as well. So I would then, that's going to take me to kind, presumably. I'm going to log in there, and then it's going to send me back. And we have, the route we have there is just called callback, right? So we'll create routes callback. And that's going to be, is that going to receive a post request or just get request, I guess, get with a query string?
It'll be, yes, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so I'll probably just restrict it so it can only be called with a get request. And we're going to do some stuff with the query. So query. What would we do? We're going to call another thing from the client, I guess. And that client is then going to...
Yeah, there should be a helper. I think it's, I've forgotten the name off the top of my head. It's quite a mouthful from memory. Is it handle something?
Handle redirect to app?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Okay, so basically what we would do, yeah, okay, so that we just import directly from the SDK.
It should be based on the client, I think. So you probably want it. Have you got access to the client in here?
Yeah, so we can basically do, what was it, kind client dot handle redirect to app, and we're going to do event path. Do you need it? Do you need the? It needs to have a request. Oh, the session manager. Okay, so event context kind session manager, and then it needs a URL. So get request URL. Should give us the URL, and now that's going to return a promise, so we'll await it. And what else? Presumably, oh, I guess it's going to write that to the cookie. Then we do need to redirect, I guess. So we would then like send a redirect to our own app again, like this, something like that.
Wherever that kind of onward, whether it's to your homepage or your dashboard or wherever you're, possibly that's something you set ahead of time as an environment variable, or maybe you're remembering where the user was trying to go to before they were prompted to authenticate. But yeah, probably easiest is just home.
Cool. Okay, so let's just see if this works. I guess we've got enough to actually have this take us home. I think the only thing that we might, ideally it would be nice to have some kind of confirmation that it actually works, but because I guess there's not going to really be a way of knowing whether we are logged in. If everything works, it will just appear to take us home again. It won't appear to give us any kind of authenticated state, but I think that can come later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we might need to forward a port. I think I might have just stopped speaking, which is probably unsettling. Am I coming through now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's refresh that. Okay, we're not expecting anything to happen on this page, other than I guess we could probably create a redirect link. So we would create a link, Nux link to href or to whatever you prefer to quickly install code highlighting. And I think we said it was API login was the root, which might actually not be what we want. We might just have /login. It doesn't hugely matter at this point. Because at the moment, we're just building an app. This is just, we're building something that integrates with Kind, and then we're going to try and figure out how to abstract things out a little bit later. So we would say login, and then we would pass, what did we say, API login, and we will say it's an external link, so it's not going to try and do that with an internal like SPA navigation. It's going to perform a hard reload. So hopefully, if I click that link, it's going to take me to Kind. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's taken me. Yep, good. Okay, I'm going to get a magic link. I hope. Oh, create one. And I'm very much hoping. Okay, sign up flow here. And I should check my email. Okay, I've got something. Yeah, I do apologize. I am totally going to need to improve the performance of my computer. Sorry about this. Okay, so we've got a code. I'm going to paste that in. Continue. Okay, there's a callback. Stored state not found, which might be, why might this be? Someone's asking, Dave, if Kind emails are customizable in any way.
There's some basic customizations. I think it's just the background color of the email and the logo could be customizable to obviously be your brand. But kind of full email customization is on the roadmap. But surprisingly hasn't been as requested as much as we thought it might be.
Yeah.
It seems quite a lot of people are using social logins rather than things where they're actually receiving emails. So maybe a lot of the time they're not even seeing them.
Yeah. I think, by the way, what's happened is because we have an async, we're updating the session asynchronously. What happened was when we redirected, So I'm getting this from the fact that we have this log about headers being added after they've been sent to the client. That's probably because the session manager has tried to add a cookie or update the cookie header, but it's all, the response is already gone, which is probably we haven't awaited it. So that may be something we can, I don't like that. That may be an architecture decision. So you might or might not want to allow that, but it probably won't work with the session manager we have without making it async.
Right.
But
okay, there was something we were talking about today, whether we do or don't.
So
yeah, maybe making it.
Yeah. So basically, I think that's this. So stuff, yeah, it all looks synchronous to me. But this is the funny thing is it's an asynchronous function, but it's just that these are not awaited. So because like I think we could probably just await that, and it should work fine, right? So then similarly, we are awaiting fetch tokens for, but we're not awaiting this. So, oh no, that's just going to be a string. But I feel like, okay, stored state we should be able to await. We should be able to await commit tokens to memory, right? So that, yeah, all of these I feel should be, these can be async calls.
Await.
So and then wherever we use that, sorry, this is terrible. I should definitely not do this, but just seeing if I can monkey patch it in.
Yep.
So what else might we have? Okay, so we didn't have a problem with the authorization URL. And this actually might be the wrong bit to be modifying, because what we actually want to do is not change this bit, but the bit where we're setting the tokens before we swap them out. So effectively, yeah, everywhere we do this, we'll await that. And okay, I wonder if that's enough changes that, like, this is quick and dirty. Like, I should open a PR. Like that's really what we should do. But I won't expect this to work. It's still won't have the state, but let's try it fresh. And see, okay, we still have the headers being set. So even if we went through the login for that's not going to work. Okay, so it's being set just to trace it down, probably through set session item. So if we search for that in kind TypeScript, yes, lots of stuff. But we are, oh, interesting, you ship tests. Do you intend to ship tests? Or is it
not? It's
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, possibly not. I guess it could be useful, but more from I suppose from a framework developer perspective rather than someone that's consuming it. So we may move those out.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be useful to have access to tests. Rollinson, it is possible to dynamically generate types, yeah. And it is possible to use those types immediately. So this is a shame. So I will just have to make this async. I wonder, should we just do a PR? Like, should we, rather than do all of these little changes, let's just clone it, modify it in source, rebuild it.
Yeah.
And okay, so we've got the kind TypeScript SDK. So git clone. Meanwhile, I can fork it. Actually, yeah. Ugh. And let's open that here. Rollinson, there is a specific add type template just for module augmentations that also takes care of adding it to the generated TS config in the user's project. So you might try that. Okay, open folder. And okay, kind TypeScript SDK. Cool. Oops, I think I'm starring my own fork. Right, so we have got our lib. I don't know why everything is so slow today. Okay, so we're going to need to find our, this is the great thing about TypeScript, right? You can just change a function signature and trace the errors through to find out everywhere it's being consumed. But okay, what are we going to want to do? We are looking for set session item, remove session item, destroy session. If all of these can be async, that would be great. Okay, so we've got this. We probably want to change the type of the session manager to start. Okay, so it's going to either and we will say okay, so if we've made the session manager async, we should probably install dependencies, and maybe I suspect the build test will start giving us some kind of issues, but it's PNPM, which is a delight to see. And we have, a build step, which means we can probably just run tsc no emit watch. And that's going to... I'm so sorry, Flo. I'm so sorry, everybody. Okay. No errors. That doesn't seem right. Like, that feels like there should be errors, but let's see. Okay. Maybe we need to enable an ESLint that like disables hanging promises or something like that, because this is the kind of thing that where we should be getting errors, I feel. Why is it not?
Just have more faith in yourself.
Well, maybe. I'm just going to say they're definitely going to return a promise. There we go. Okay, so we'll switch it back in a moment. But yes, now 88 errors. That's what I'm expecting. So what we want to do, is like we could make them always promise. But anyway. Okay. I have a feeling, though, this is not going to be quite as fast as I was hoping for, but let's see. Okay, we're down to 93. So we've increased because we have more asynchronous functions. Cool. The thing is, this is very interesting where we're using this as everywhere. Okay, let's do this with more regexps. Okay, so we basically have get session item. It's used in lots of places, and I'm not sure I can fully do this. I think it'll be faster. So. Okay. Right. What's the issue? It's awaitable unknown. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, those arrows have disappeared. These arrows have reappeared. Get clean value. Let's now be awaited as well. I see why they might not have wanted to make it async, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's always.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do this, Dave? Like, is this?
No,
is this?
No. My screen's actually frozen, so I'm just.
You have no idea what I'm doing. This is just by faith.
It's gone rogue.
Oh dear, this is bad. Okay, let's see if we can fix the stream. It's all working very, very well for me. I can see my stream, my stream quite clearly. It might be my. Is it possible it's network related? I'll try and swap back to. Okay, let's see. I actually haven't changed the network settings. I'm just going to do that now. Okay. Can you hear me, Dave? Am I there?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if this is any better. We have some very funny people in the chat. Daniel is absolutely right. The problem is the multiple video feeds. I could try disappearing. Let's see if I just go away. Okay, I'm gone. Does it make it any better for anyone else? You'll have to see.
Still there for me.
If my... What's still there? The lag. No? Okay, the other option is we could just see what happens if ads. You don't see ads. There shouldn't be any ads on this stream. Okay, is this any better with Dave turned off? It might be the fact that I have a separate video stream for him. Because if so, I have another approach. We can use something else. No? Okay, Dave, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to send you a link. And this is basically a problem at my end, is what it is. But hopefully this will make it a little bit better. Okay, Dave, I'm sorry. I'm going to say goodbye to you here. I sent a link, and we'll get you back on in a sec.
Okay.
Okay. I'm hoping that this should make things better already for people. Is this good? Because if this isn't good, then the problem was not the extra stream. Dave can definitely join us in chat, but I think Dave can. I think there is another way to get him back in on the stream, which would be really ultimately a bit better. We should be able. I think we should be able to do that with just one tweak. But hopefully this is not lagging for people. So let me know if it is or is not lagging. This. It's true. Okay. Now the problem is that Dave, who's the expert, the person we want to have here. Yeah, there we go. Let's get him in. I think I have a URL. I think this is all feeling very positive. Dave, I can see your messages. I can hear you. You're saying smooth as butter. I see it. And Dave, can you hear us? Is this working for you? We can see you, Dave. Sure, Dave, come on my stream. It'll be fine. We'll just have a lot of fun. I really feel for Dave. It's really late where he is. Dave, who's the expert, the person we want to have here. Yeah, there we go.
I'm in.
He's talking, trying to talk. And I think I have a URL. I think this is all feeling very positive. This is not Dave's fault, by the way. I shared this link with him. Dave, last minute. Dave, I want you all to. I can see your messages. Give a great deal I can hear you. You're saying smooth as butter. I see it. And sort of blame to me. Dave, that would definitely be the right way. Can you hear us?
Am I in?
Is this working for you? Okay, I feel Dave can hear us. We can see you, Dave. He was dancing, but we cannot yet hear Dave.
Must be massive lag.
Dave, everyone is calling out to you from the chat. They are saying, Dave, you've got a fan club, so this is good. Wake up, Dave. Well, I'm not sure Dave is asleep. I think this is something else. We're both here. You know, we can't hear each other. There's a barrier of communication. Sure, Dave, come on my stream. It'll be fine. We'll just have a lot of fun. I really feel for Dave. So it's really late where he is. Dave is the expert, the person we want to have here. Yeah, there we go.
I'm in.
Dave is talking, trying to talk, and I think I have a URL. I think this is all feeling very positive. Dave is there. This is something else.
Are we in?
No. Wait, you can hear my stream on Dave's stream. You can hear Dave's stream. Oh, I just can't hear Dave's stream. Okay. That's it. Okay, so he's fine. That's my own fault. Okay, let's try that. I will pull up. So I will be able to hear Dave's stream as well, hopefully. And then, Dave, if you can mute me or put headphones on so that other people cannot hear me from you, then we should be good. Okay, I am going to say that we might try and set this up another time. So basically, I think we've got a couple of things that we can fix offline. So we can fix some async stuff for TypeScript, and that's the kind of thing that I'll carry on, I'll stream. But maybe I can get Dave back later on once we are able to implement the session manager in Nuxt, and we can then go ahead and finish the actual module implementation. I think that might be a reasonable thing to do. I'll have to somehow communicate this to Dave. But does that sound okay to everybody? Exactly. Dave is smiling, but I don't feel like he could be menacing particular. Fingers crossed. Dave, if you can hear me. Okay. Okay, people, let's do it. So what we're going to go ahead and carry on with is the refactor to head into this being a promise. Dave has vanished. Everyone, please, a minute's silence for the terribleness of my stream. So hopefully things are now working. You should now be able to see me. There should be no problems. There are no extra video streams floating around. My computer should not be any worse than it normally is. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, why not just do a little bit of refactoring? So we can do that. We will just make these things asynchronous, because why not, right? So this file seems fine. We have still 96 errors. There's a lot more to go. And it's very thoroughly typed, which is good. That's why it's actually exactly. Surely we were meant to have something good. That means that we don't have to do any of the this rigmarole. But there you have it. Okay. Right, I'm actually going to take this off now. I don't need headphones. Right, so I am glad you like it. Has it arrived yet? Are you actually able to use it, or are you still waiting for it to come? Oh, for goodness sake. There are... Oh, this is fine. Client credentials, we're going to have to pull them in. Excellent. Should be able to get in our authorization flow. Beautiful. And excellent. Then we need to be able to pull this in. Cool. Excellent. Oh, good. That's really nice. Okay, so we now have, let's see, 92 errors. We're going down. We can actually, I'll just expect the error in here. This is actually should be fine. So the reason this is throwing us these are throwing errors is because they are synchronous. But before we finish, we are exactly, Dave. You can respond in chat. Perfect. You are allowed to go to bed there as well. That's also an option. Right. So I think these will be fine. This is just a... Oh, I see. It's cast as a browser session manager. The browser session manager, I see. We can also say... We're going to discard these changes because before we commit, we're going to update the signature of session manager. So because really we want to be able to do either, like this. So it should be okay. Oh, we've got 10. Okay, this may be good enough for now. So we have our, let's see, our auth code with PKCE, and this is going to have to be, yeah, a promise. This will be a promise as well. And so will this. And I think a few more things. That's strange. It is a mechanical keyboard. If you're looking for it, it's here. These errors, I'm not really sure that related. I mean, this one is, but this one, the get user from memory, it's expecting promise user type, but in fact, it seems that it's typed as or null. So, oh, I think, oh, the issue is the assertion there. Come on. There we go. Okay, so, okay, we're narrowing it down. Let's see, can we open this one? Great. and here. There. Okay, let's do one more change of the definition of our session manager to throw up any additional errors. Okay, so we've got, these are all within the browser SDK and a lot within the tests. But the tests, I think, are just about the type of session manager itself. So it feels like that might actually be fine. Let's see if we run our tests, whether it might work. Okay, so we have a jest. Interesting. I don't know whether we need to build this first. No, these are source. Okay, we've got some errors. No authentication credential. I don't know if that is maybe just, what is the CI? What do we run in CI? Is there a CI/CD script? Interesting. How do you test this? Is there some kind of CI/CD? So there are clearly tests, but they don't seem to be running in CI. And this is parsing, but this bit isn't running. So why might that be? For child process problems. Let's try just running feature flags. Aha. Okay, right, token claims and feature flags. And I think it's just one thing related to the token claims. So we have our we're awaiting these things, that's great. That's being awaited. Okay, maybe not. Maybe token utils are all simple. I think we need to await this one. And these. Wait, commit token to memory. Yeah, these also have to be awaited. And that also. Okay. we can optimize that a little bit later on. Hey, Salma, White Panther, welcome. It is a pleasure to see you. And yeah, everyone definitely go and follow Salma. Come on. It's, yeah, always amazing things. And now I want to know what's next for you. Like obviously you might be heading off, but I would be really interested to know, like what's going on. Great work on shouting out on Twitter. What was the account? Sale House. Okay, starting on Monday. Cool. Well, we are doing something incredibly exciting, which is that we are converting an asynchronous code base to an asynchronous code base, which is definitely what you want to be here for. And we're currently using some regex joy to find us locations where functions are being invoked in a particular pattern, and hopefully we can await them, and that will make things work. That's what I want to happen. That is, oh goodness, we have to do that as well. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Okay, so we want to this will break everything, right? This is the kind of thing that totally breaks everything. So we have get item. And then we want this as well. How am I finding it? Well, at the moment, I actually haven't been able to use it yet because Nuxt's session state is asynchronous, and everything, and kind is currently synchronous in terms of how it manages sessions. on the server. So therefore, I've become distracted by refactoring their code base into making it asynchronous, which I'm very much hoping is going to mean that we can then actually test this out in a second. But poor Dave on the stream was sitting there, unable to see anything because the stream is lagging terribly. And I was basically making a lot of changes to the code base, which will probably break things for other people. So I'm hoping not. Okay, it's the same number of tests failing. There's something not being awaited somewhere is the answer. Okay, let's go back to TypeScript. And we need probably to revert this thing. Okay. And we might as well just make everything here a promise as well, just to test it. I was thinking about doing something where I sort of look at other frameworks and contribute to them. By the way, I really don't have any preferences between different providers. Like, so my aim in Nuxt is really, as much as possible, to let people pick what they want to use. And so if there are things that we can do to make that better in Nuxt by exposing things or whatever. Oh, these need to be awaited. Of course, in the test. That's why it's not working. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Well, actually, Sean, would you like me to pick PR on your repo? I would probably love to make a PR on your repo because yeah, no, I use Cal all the time and it is great. Let's see. Yes. Good day. Good day. You are currently beholding what I'm not quite sure how I got myself into this situation where I am refactoring a code base from sync to async, but somehow, yes, I have done that. And it is exactly how that sounds. Okay. I think it's guilt. I think I felt very guilty about putting Dave on this call, and I'm now Okay. Ooh, we're getting down. We are very nearly there. Right. This is promising. Okay, no more TypeScript errors. How about... Yes, here we see a very, very distracted engineer. Okay. Okay. I don't actually want to exclude tests. Oh, that's half of the reason why it's all failing. Okay, so we basically want to replace that with await session manager and oops. Come on. Okay. Okay. Let's see if that I did it. I probably have multiple asyncs. No, that should not change. Oh, this is just a preview. Okay. Oh, rats. That was my mistake with the regexp. I didn't exclude it. I actually just replaced it. So that's why that's failing. Okay. No, it was not foggy for me. I don't know. Fog can be so localized though. So basically, yeah, for me it was yeah, it was a totally normal. That's strange. Totally normal night. Please tell me there's some kind of linting in this repository because I can't do this. Yeah, let's just run that. Oh, rats. It's just changed everything. Interesting. So why would found ID token this somewhere we're setting a session item and not awaiting it, I feel. So set session item. Well, the good news is a lot of things are passing. Right, so we basically, it looks like we're not setting a token. There we go. Cool. So just this one. What's going on here? Okay, so the thing, found access token. So we're calling get session item. And for some reason, the memory cache, which we've set with this, this, so that's the way I can fix this double spacing. Yeah, there's some missing await in set session item. Let's specifically look for that. It might also not be actually in the session item thing. It might be in the implementation of it in the test suite, for example. Or the other thing is that it might it might be the thing that's calling it. I thought I checked that. So basically the set session item here is awaited. And the get session item is also all awaited. So this is the test that's failing, and it feels like, aha, excellent. $58, this is good, it's throwing up. Commit tokens to memory, aha, this might be it. Okay, let's try this again. I thought I searched for that, but maybe I didn't. Or maybe I didn't replace all of them. So that needs to be replaced. That needs to be replaced. Goodness, seemed to be quite a lot. It's probably faster just to look through them manually. I don't think there's a lot of stuff in here that's not. Okay, we can just search for that. Nope, just there. Okay, and 78. And we have a couple of things here, 56. So I guess the issue here is we need to say that this could be ugh. Is the assistant really complaining about this one? Oh, maybe it's a different line. 58. Yeah. And there. That's 56. Okay. What about our tests? Interesting. What's failing now? Sorry, this is a total side tangent, and actually, I'm probably going to give it a couple more minutes. But total side project. We're looking at Kind. Kind is a authentication product, and we're integrating that with Nuxt to build a Nuxt module. We found out that we needed actually to migrate it to async for the SDK, and so that's what we're working on at the moment. And so why I decided to do that, I have no idea. But anyway, that is definitely what is happening. So we want to run, let's see, test. Interesting. So where is this being thrown? No authentication credential found. Oh yeah, that's a very good point. Promise resolve would be better solution. And 139. We might also want to make these promises, basically. Which would also be useful because then we would be able to do sessions, session storage, local storage as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, the issue is that it is, we want to be able to assert that about the I wonder, just assert async. Does anyone know this? Has been a long time since I've used just. There we go. I feel this should be a lot more straightforward. Okay, so we now are grabbing, what are we looking at? Get user profile, get session item. Okay, cool. And then we have something up here. In fact, we have 3 of them. Okay. I really, really do not know what David's going to think about this, because, like, honestly, there's a team building this and they've chosen to make it synchronous and we've refactored it to be async. Like, surely this is a bad idea. But anyway, I got distracted. Okay, so we have a remote, which is this. I'll just add this remote. Get remote, add fork. Okay. Get checkout the async to async. Let's do a quick. Okay. Great. So what am I doing wrong here? Ah, it is a... It's late. It's late. Right. Okay. Get push fork feed async. Super. So we should be able to make a PR now. And discovered when implementing Nuxt module for kind that we need support for async session in order to integrate with Nitro H3 session by which would be the most platform native way to do it for Nuxt. You may wish to refactor or rethink how I've done this, but it's a start. And okay, there's something there, and some people can do some good things to it. I think we will call that a day. We've ended up refactoring a code base from sync to async, which is slightly probably not what I was expecting, and probably definitely not what Dave was expecting. So anyway, and thank you, Dave, for being such a good sport. Honestly, for being willing to put up with some poor video quality, and we'll hopefully sort that out in future. I have an idea, so we'll see what we can do. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It really has been a lot of fun for me, apart from the bits where it was incredibly painful because of the stream falling apart. So I think that's probably enough for today. And let's see, does anyone... Next module for Pocket Base. Don't just throw that in at the end of the stream. That's the kind of thing you tell me at the beginning, and then we figure out what we're going to do. Does Pocket Base actually need a module, or does it just work? This definitely was a dev black hole. I hope you appreciate it. This, yes, this black hole is... I'm glad you're being that. Thank you. That's just very kind of you. Very kind of you all. And yes, see you later. And I vanished for some reason because my camera